Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Third Eye Podcast.
Okay, so let's see.
I'm not doing that for the whole thing, I promise. I'm actually not that coordinated with this little keyboard yet. So, let's see. What are we going to talk about? I don't know. I actually don't have a topic, thankfully. Because if I did, I might actually, try to have some kind of you know, some kind of like agenda. If I like tried to come on here and I like had notes and I was like, I'm gonna try and say this time. I feel like it wouldn't be the same. I feel like it's good that I come in here and I have no idea what the fuck I'm gonna talk about because that really leads me down what is maybe articulated as the golden thread. Maybe I can find out something really good to talk about if I don't even really try. So, we're talking about nonsense. Nonsense is pretty frustrating. I hate it when people talk nonsense. And nonsense, what does that sound like? To me, I think talking about the Marvel movies is nonsense. I don't like talking about the Marvel movies. Not really. What else is nonsense? I think. Let's see. Let's fix this a little bit. Whoops. Sorry. I'm doing a lot of swaying. Nonsense is things like, to me, shit that doesn't really matter, and it's only really nonsense if you talk about it over and over and over again. Like, okay, now you're really like you're in this like loop of nonsense. I don't want to talk about the Marvel movies. They're not that interesting. I mean, my perspective on these movies, on all movies, is like, I mean, I can enjoy a lot of movies. I enjoyed the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and I'm pretty sure that's Marvel. So like you can't really get away from it. They're gonna make good movies. There's gonna be lots of people that make good movies, just like there's gonna be lots of people that make good music. But what are you gonna do? You're gonna enjoy something. I enjoyed the raccoon. I didn't enjoy all that weird, sad shit in the last movie. Can't we just like I don't know, have some godlike figure kill someone's mother and have that dude fuck him up? Can't we do that? And then not like go down the rabbit hole of the raccoon's backstory. It was a good backstory. I'm not like shitting on the raccoon, but I'm just getting at. See, now I'm talking about it. What do we? It's a trap. It's a sticky glue trap. Who cares about the Marvel movies? It's like talking about Disney movies. I mean, those are good movies too. Why are we talking about movies? Movies don't matter. Movies are like grand hallucinations, in my opinion. They're like, because I don't know. I mean, because what's even a hallucination? Some people prescribe the idea of hallucination to anything that is like can be seen mentally, that's not here physically, that can be touched. And so if you're seeing it and you can't touch it, you can't have an effect on it, and it's like ethereal in nature, it's a hallucination. And therefore, it's not real. It is a figment of your imagination, kind of like a mirage. It's something your brain wants you to think is there, maybe. And or maybe it's not even trying to do anything. It's just like a malfunction. Boom, something's there. It's your brain's misfiring, and it's got a couple cylinders, and so I love it when I lose my train of thought. Movies are. I think movies are like a distraction, kind of, and they're distracting us from, again, big conspiracy. I think they're distracting us from what we're capable of doing. So, like, for example, I believe, if we focused all of our brain power, all of the people on the planet, if we focused our brain power on like one thing, but that would mean that everybody would have to agree on that one thing that we wanted to have done. Like the national project. The national project was the national project to build the pyramids. Everybody helped. No, like, what if everybody used their mind power? And I mean, yeah, that would work in my opinion. That would work in my opinion more than it would sliding giant tons and tons of pounds of these bricks on mud, wet sand, and like sleds, and tons of people pulling it with ropes. No, come on, that's stupid. Um, that's not a bad idea though. At least somebody came up with an idea before we had an idea. But the movies are a distraction because I think we're capable of these things. Oh, my back's a little tight. We're capable of these things, and the movies. It's almost like the movies trick us into thinking that it's not possible. Like, because you watch a movie, and then sometimes they might put at the beginning of the movie based on a real story, and you're like, oh my god, that can happen. That's real. That happens. Like the one, like putting it at the beginning of a paranormal movie or something like that. But you don't ever see that in a Marvel movie, of course. Why would you ever see based on a true story in a Marvel movie? Why would they do that? Unless they're really trying to fuck with you. But, or they're not. But anyway, so what if the movies are kind of a distraction? In a sense, like, I mean, it's not solely on the factor of if you don't put based on real life or something like that at the beginning of the movie that people are going to think that it's not real. But kind of what I'm getting at here is like what you don't know how deep a psyop can go. You don't know how very carefully planned a psyop could be, and how obviously sloppy and strewn together it could also be. But the point is that you never know if you're being affected by a psyop that's a lot grander than you can possibly comprehend on your own accord. Some things take a motor vehicle is comprised of many parts, many parts. It needs all of these parts to work, but not only does it need these parts to work, it needs fluids running through those parts. It needs gasoline, it needs coolant, it needs spark plugs, it needs electricity to be able to. There's so many things, components, and interactions, transactions happening all at once to make your vehicle run. The same thing is going on with psyops. It requires many minds at work to create the brain power required to unleash upon the human race a conspiracy so grand that one person couldn't possibly come up with the entire scheme of it, unless I was sitting here, of course, like putting all these different the yarn with the string all across my wall, and it grows into a giant spider web. I'm not going to do anything like that. What's the point? But it's fun to talk about. It's fun to talk about that life is a grand conspiracy. Life kind of is a grand conspiracy in a way. I think it's a fun grand conspiracy to maybe learn something. You know what I mean? And if we're here to learn something, maybe each of us are here to learn something specific. If any of us can possibly be individuals, then the point of being an individual is to maybe learn something individual of anybody else. A specific life story created, crafted, perfectly designed for you so that you could learn something absolutely individual. And that is a tool in a way. If you're a piece of God, then your lesson that you can learn from the bottom to the top, from hell to heaven, the incarnations in between, and the entire journey from there from the bottom up could be teaching you something that God is going to use in the grander scale of things in a way that you can't obviously comprehend. So, what am I here for? What are you here for? What are you here for? Are you thinking about that? Because you're not here to go work at your Starbucks job. You're not here to work behind that desk. You're not here to you're not here to do you're not here to listen to me either. Why are you listening to me? That's interesting as well. I'm here spouting nonsense. More nonsense on the internet for all of us to listen to. Why are you here listening to it? What is there to gain from me speaking into this mic? It's really a confusing operation I've got here. I've got so many different avenues of knowledge coming at me at once. It's hard to choose sometimes. What do I talk about? Should I have like some kind of vague idea? I do wonder, should I maybe have a notebook? I don't do that. Maybe I should have a notebook to write these things down. I thought that's what the podcast was for. The podcast is just me talking to myself, and a few people kind of chime in every now and then. I do enjoy it when people comment, by the way. That's always interesting because I don't always know who's listening. Some people have popped up that I weren't expecting to listen to this and have an interesting opinion or two. And I'm going to respond to it. Don't worry, I'll get there. I'm thinking really hard. I promise. I have read your comments, and I'm thinking very hard of what to say. Except for those of you that are just leaving compliments, straight up compliments. Those are nice. Thank you. Love it. Always going to heart that shit. Always going to like that shit. Besides the point. One comment was someone talking about how they think technology is evil, I think, or it's just not good, and anything that's like that kind of separates people, drives people apart is not good. I agree with that. Though at the same time, I still think technology can be used in a good way. But the problem is our morality in the situation and our willingness to maybe assert dominance with the morality. And is peace through strength the only way to do that? Being strong is so necessary in my life because I've spent a lot of time being weak, and weakness allows me to do a lot of things that are just so cringy and shameful. Yeah, that's no fun at all. By the way, since the last podcast, no monsters. That's a new development. New, recent. What's new? I've done this before, where there was a period of time, a long period of time, where I didn't have any energy drinks. So is it a new development or a what do you call that? I don't know. Re-emerging development. hmm I hope everybody out there I care about is developing in some kind of way. I'm trying to do something, some kind of thing. I'm trying to do some kind of thing that will have profound effects. And talking into a mic, I don't know. There's something about it. Something about talking into like this weird little cave that I'm in. It's definitely talking to just myself right now. And therefore I am enacting this mirror upon mirror image. I only have myself to contemplate my thoughts. Think about them all the time. So there's something hidden deep underneath the surface of my thoughts that must be helpful to my situation. What am I dealing with right now? Dealing with he is, I don't know. What is he dealing with? Oh, my troubles, they are not that much troublesome. I live a good life, and it is in fact that my introspection, my reflectiveness, what is it? What am I doing here that makes my life better? I decided to aim up. I decided to lose weight. I decided to go to the gym. I decided to eat better. I decided to listen to information that might help me out. I decided to look for motivation and seek it constantly. Change my algorithm online so that way I wouldn't be seeing things that would constantly bring me down and or change my mood for the worse. I wanted to lift myself up constantly, and that's what I want other people to do. So, how do I lift other people up? Through what I'm talking about. I don't come to the podcast with ideas, perhaps, of things to talk about, although I do end up talking about things that I have ideas about. I come to the podcast with kind of like an emotional intent, almost like how I would go into meditative states. And in those places, think about I guess profound things. Whenever I'm in those states, I do oh man, so much fun stuff happens in there. Fun. What's fun about it? What's fun about it is I'm not attached to my body in that place, and I can think about things that I'm thinking about way deeper. I have this comprehension ability, this ability to comprehend more. At my my reach is further. It seems like the way that I can articulate something to you now, be it articulating it fast or well spoken, in a place like this, I'm not usually having to articulate anything to anybody else, but I am thinking about things to myself, and they just seem to flow down the stream into my brain really well, and conveying them back outward into the world might be a necessary thing, It might be part of the path. Who am I trying to help? I really like to help my friends. I've made some new friends up here in this place that I've come to. And moving away from Arkansas was a great idea because I was kind of in danger of letting some roots grow there where I maybe couldn't get out. And I'm not saying, you could live to 40 or 50 in the same place and still not move away. You could still manage that. You can do a lot of just about anything at whatever age if you believe in yourself. And beyond believing yourself, if you just like, you can just kind of choose to do stuff sometimes. You can just kind of choose to do shit sometimes. And you can just kind of choose to do like righteous shit sometimes. And having free will is so fun. It's so fun that you can literally ruin your life with it, and it's so fun you can literally build generations of wealth with it. It's so much fun. It's we're like deep in the meat suit right now, man, and our vision is so where we live is in front of our eyes. I I've every now and then my favorite time is spent like 5 feet behind that, looking down upon myself. I'm like, this is so crazy. What are you up to? What are you up to? Are you listening to me? Are you listening to me? I think you're trying. Hey, stop that. So mm, in those places, I have some strange thoughts, and I don't know. I most certainly don't come back with all the information, but I'm starting to wonder if there's a way that I could. I bet the journal's gonna have to happen. I got a little leather bound, looks like an old scroll, leathery mesh of homemade paper, and that's yes. Some of my entity encounters, the best that I can draw it goes in there. Some of the first experiences that I had have gone in there, and boy, there are some interesting things. I bet you thought something happened there. No, it didn't. I was thinking about something. What I was thinking about was how maybe recently I've wondered near death experiences. In a lot of experiences, people tend to see dead relatives, and I wonder if that has anything to do with the person that I saw in one of my trips. I saw someone that I thought was me, and I continue to think that it could be me. Perhaps it is a future version of me. Perhaps it is a version of me from a different reality. But now I'm wondering, is it possible that it could be a dead relative at around the age that I am now, and genetically we share so many features that they just look so much like me, and because of my inability to remember exactly what I saw them, but misinterpreted it as me. Kind of like Harry Potter when he saw the Patronus that saved his life and he thought it was his dad, but instead it was him. In this scenario, it's kind of the reverse. I think it's me, but it might be someone else. I'm very possibly wrong. Oh, it's so curious, that place. Who's trying to talk to me there? Someone's. I've had one particular experience. I lay back, and then I shut my eyes, and it feels like I'm surrounded by my friends. I'm surrounded by my friends, and I didn't have very many friends at this particular time. Which, funny enough, ironically enough, I feel like I'm surrounded by friends, but only one of them I can actually see the face of, and they're kind of off to my right. And it's the friend that I'm actually closest to right now. I talk to this person the most and interact with them the most, even though that's actually pretty spread out, pretty rare. Still, they are what would I consider to be my best friend. And this particular person, he'll be on the podcast pretty soon, and he's a fantastic person. And I am green with the jealousy sometimes when I see this person interact in public because he's so kind, and I'm like, man, I thought I was nice. I thought I was like, well, I kind of have this bad habit of sometimes thinking I am what other people tell me. So even that kind of goes in the opposite direction because typically, you shouldn't let shitty things that people tell you make you think that you're a shitty person. But at the same time, when people tell you good things about yourself, then you can kind of get an inflated ego, and you think that you're the good things that people tell you about yourself too. That's another trap, and in that trap, you come across people who are actually nicer than you, and you're like, shit, I thought I was nice. Well, he's really nice, and now I don't see him 24/7, but he's super nice to me. That's another thing too. People are like super nice to me. The people that aren't nice to me are not that way for very long. They just don't stick around. It's not like I do something to them. I get rid of them. I take care of them. But I am a certain kind of way that people that don't vibe with me, if I don't exit the realm that you're in, you will shortly exit. And it's because there is this like it's almost like this pressure. I'm It's not a thing I do. It's like a way that I am that creates a pressure with people that don't vibe with me. And they can feel it and they don't understand it and it makes them uncomfortable and it makes them usually leave. And so the best example I have of that is this one person who portrayed themselves like one way, and I could. It's it's always too early in the moment to say that I know what's going on, but it's always funny to look back and be like, I could tell what was happening there, but because of my proclivity to not like trust my instinct in the moment too hardcore, like if I could just trust my gut instinct in the moment, I would behave so differently. And but my hindsight is always 2020 and is like beyond 2020. I'm right in the moment most of the time, and then later on I look back and I'm like, if I had acted how I intuitively felt in that moment, things would have gone differently, probably maybe better in my favor, depending on how I behaved as a result. Because when people decide to tell me that they're one thing and I begin to immediately pick up that they're not that one thing that they're describing themselves as, then I begin to typically go along with their little play because I don't like conflict, but I will deal with conflict if it God damn it if it comes my way. Because conflict, that's something I've realized with myself lately is that it's like I think I'm soft, but when the forces of the universe decide to wield a hammer and strike it down upon me, as soon as that mallet reaches my spirit, my ethereal form, it strikes iron. It strikes something incredibly resilient, non-malleable, and it's like, fuck you. I will persist and survive. Now, that might be my ego. That might not be a good thing, but I definitely have recognized that that is within me. This capability that when life tries to throw a problem at me, at least here lately in the past 5 years, I will fucking deal with that goddamn problem. I will figure it out, especially if it's a serious problem. I will pivot, motherfucker. I will figure that shit out. But I, and that's frustrating, honestly. That's frustrating to be able to do that because then when you see people who are struggling to do that, you get frustrated with them. And then you've got to do a little session. You got to do another session because you don't like being frustrated with people. You think there's people out there who see like if there's gurus out there, there's people that can like they can be so perfectly attuned with nature in a way that they see the forest through the trees, and when someone is an asshole to them, it's like it doesn't hit anything. They're like not even there. There's nothing there for you to offend, and so I try to practice that ability. How can I interact with people that bug me and be not bothered? I need to read a book on something like that, dealing with the enemy, conversing with the enemy. So many books are helpful to us. That's another thing too. Why would someone write a Bible? Who thought that who at one or the Quran, who at one point had such an experience that they thought they had the experience. They had the experience and they have to convey it and then everybody has to listen to it. And then everybody has to listen to it. That sucks. Doesn't it? It sucks. Like fucking I don't know about Mormons. I don't know about like I've lied as a kid. Duh. I've ran around as a child and strewn up false realities to try and turn things in my favor. And who's to say that something like that can't turn into a religion? I'm not saying that's what's happening with the Mormons, but still, in my experience, having been fooled by bullshit and having fooled with bullshit, it's such a waste of time. We those that aren't that deep will create deep problems for those of us that like to deal with deep problems. maybe deep problems have shallow solutions. I mean, oftentimes we are confronted with the problems, and sometimes we realize the solution is right in front of our eyes, right under our nose, even. What's the solution to this problem? What's the solution to this problem? What's the problem I'm having? Am I having a problem? Hmm. Maybe the problem is I'm not putting wax in my mustache. Mm-hmm. Maybe I should put wax in my mustache. Yeah. That would. Yeah. Hold on. That's it. That would fix everything in my life right now. If I put wax in my mustache. No, hold on. Listen to me. Look at the mustache. If I put wax in this mustache, turn it into like one of them. I don't know if it's literally called a wharf stash. If I put wax in my mustache, I might transcend and become a god. Now, if this works, I told you so, first of all. And second, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to strike lightning down on the people that I hate. Mm-hmm. Yep. Uh, who's the first to go? Who do I hate the most? Damn it. It's me. Shit. All right, so we can't do that. All right, changing the religion. I don't want to be a god anymore. Uh, uh, lotion. We're gonna move on to lotion. That's gonna solve all my problems. I lotion my hands. My hands are kind of gritty. They get dry pretty often. I might become a god if I moisturize my hands. I've gone crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely insane. By the way, in case you're like legitimately worried for me, this is just me fucking really trying to be nonsensical. This is a nonsense episode. This episode should be about nonsense. So I'm glad I started with that. It is nonsense. I'm trying to be as nonsensical as possible. If you thought the other episodes were a little bit better, and this one's like really going downhill, like maybe he did too much this time, stop. Come on. I'm really trying to push the bar here. I have the accelerator. I'm pushing it up. I'm slowly pushing it up. It's getting higher and higher, and I'm pushing the ridiculousness just a little bit. And because I want you all to think for a moment how much nonsense fills your life. Because what's important? I can't tell you what's important. I'll tell you probably what I think is important. But that doesn't make it important. That doesn't mean it's important. Nonsense is kind of important. I don't know, sometimes we have a hard day and we want to sit down to some nonsense. I do enjoy some Meat Canyon, some of that creepy shit. I enjoy the Y-Files. Sometimes I just want to put on trippy music and listen to Liquid Bloom or Porangui. Who knows? Excuse me. Point is, I know all that I spend a lot of time being serious, and I spend some time being irritated, some time being mad, a lot of time being happy, pretty good mood. Today was a great day. I had a good day, even though there was a weird moment where I had to you know do a thing that was uncomfortable. It's over with now. I'm feeling a lot better. It's over with. Got it over with. It's done. See, we're good. And then I went to the gym first thing. It was great. Yeah, pushed myself a little bit. Did back, shoulders, a little bit. It doesn't matter. Worked out and had a good time. And goddamn it, here we are. We're having a good time. We're fine. We're okay. We're okay. And life's going pretty good. And I hope your life is going pretty good because shit's gonna get real crazy in the next like 5 years, 10 years. Things gonna keep. I mean, it's not gonna stop getting crazy. It's gonna get worse and worse and better and better. And I hope everybody is keeping an eye on things to some degree because things are gonna get so crazy that obviously I'm not gonna be able to cover all of it. Never gonna be able to cover all of it. And the people that come on here, who knows what we're gonna talk about, or we'll cover any of that. You know what I mean? But I used to have a pet bird named Steve. He squawked at me a lot. I was the only person he liked. He would bite everybody else. I wonder if that's something about me at the time. I had a pet bird. And he would bite everybody but me. Wonder. Hmm. Nowadays, there's lots of. If you've ever watched the telepathy tapes, it seems like there's a lot of proof coming up about the fact that when you die, it's not going to go all black, and perhaps you'll even be reunited with your loved ones and pets and so on. I wonder about my pet bird sometimes, Steve. I wonder what that's gonna. I wonder what he's. I wonder if he's like. Every now and then, I feel like I see a. I feel the presence of a cat. My fiance's lost a cat or two, and every now and then we're just pretty darn certain we've seen that cat or we've felt the cat's energy or something like that. It's hard to explain. I know it's a little hard to explain, but energy's a thing, and we're all we're all tapped into an energy field, and whether or not we're paying attention to it kind of allows us to, miss something every now and then. Sometimes I wish I could like a pair of glasses. I could just put on like spiritual filter and see everything that's going on around me all the time. It'd probably be a lot to look at, maybe even too much to look at, but I enjoy that shit. I enjoy fucking jumping off the cliff, man. I'm not saying I like cliff. That's kind of funny. I would if I looked at an actual cliff. You know what I mean? If I was like thinking about cliff diving, I don't think I could actually. I could do it. I could do it, but God, I'd probably shit myself midair. And but I look at psychedelics completely differently. It definitely does feel like some kind of cliff or like getting on a roller coaster and it's we're climbing up. It definitely feels like that, and it's definitely terrifying. Terrifying enough that it consistent. Uh, what's the word I'm looking for here? Consistent. It's hard to I don't know, especially if you're trying to change yourself for the better, it's hard to continue to do it because sometimes if you're peeling away layers of yourself and you're really trying to do that too, it will help you do that. And there are some interesting things underneath, and it's so confusing and scary. And sometimes I wonder, am I going to peel away so many layers that I become this crazy, crazy thing in front of millions of people on the internet? That would be that would be hilarious, and I would hope that I wouldn't lose my mind, but I'm here for it. Life's crazy. If we're gonna do something, why don't we do something interesting? I'm not saying I'm gonna try and lose my mind. I'm not saying I'm gonna try and lose my mind. Calm down. But boy, howdy, is it fun to jump off those ledges. I can't wait. I'm getting really excited to paint again. I'm feeling the pull towards it too. I walked through a Michael's the other day and I was like, oh my goodness. I was looking at all the really big canvases and giant brushes and oil paints and water paints and I was getting really excited and I realized I hadn't felt that way in a while looking at it. And I wonder sometimes if you're going to feel things at certain times in your life because your spirit guides are wanting you to do certain things at certain times in your life. They're wanting you to develop in certain ways. Kind of like think about The Sims for a moment. Like imagine if you wanted to, you know, guide your sim in a way that was metaphysical and spiritual. You wanted to do more than just play The Sims. You wanted to like the sim. Imagine that the sim is real and has a life and has feelings and has emotions and everything, and you want to actually help them. So what you're doing is these metaphysical, spiritual things, leaving these messages, these breadcrumb trails, these little nuggets of gold every now and then to kind of guide your sim along the path into having a really fantastic and good life. Because you've already had a really fantastic and good life, or maybe you didn't. Maybe you had a mediocre, maybe you had a shitty life, but you from the spirit realm, seeing your newest tip of the spear, the newest person that's been born in your ancestral timeline, you want them to have the best life possible. So you're like trying to guide them with every little effort that you possibly can, seeding messages and doing all sorts of things that we can't possibly imagine is even possible to us right now. The way that you would like intersect with time on a fourth or fifth dimension, like an interstellar, and the way that you could possibly try and convey a really, really intense message of it's going to be okay. I'm okay if you care about me, if you know about me, if I'm dead, if you're worried about dying, don't worry about it too much. Things are going to be fine. Everything on the other side is going to be a whole lot easier than you think it was. Maybe you're going to have a lot more access, a lot more resources. The things that I'm doing right now in my life currently are getting really exciting because I'm getting really interested in a lot of things. And that's where this really interesting part of me wanting to draw again comes back in. Why all of a sudden? I know I'm artistic and I'm creative. It's really fantastic, and few people throughout my life has put some stock in that, and I really appreciate those people who have seen my artistic capabilities and like, I need to do something, put a little something towards that person. Doesn't really matter, you know who you are. And but those people that have put a little bit of energy my way, it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back, and it's gonna come back fearsome because I'm really excited to draw, not to draw. I'm really excited to create, specifically paint right now. Paint big things. I've always had grand pictures in my mind, large canvases in my head. I've always had big pictures. And I want to do big, I want to do massive. And then once I do the massive picture, I want to come in and do tons of minute, intricate little details inside of the big picture. Because that's what life is to me. It is a giant, massive, endless tapestry structure, this beautiful architecturous thing that no matter how close you look at it, it only gets more and more intense and beautiful, and it doesn't stop. You can go down the rabbit hole forever for your entire life. You can go down, you can get microscopic, macroscopic, go up, go down, get bigger, get smaller. It doesn't matter. It's all crazy and it never ends. You're stuck in samsara. You're stuck in samsara, and it's an endless realm. And in this endless realm, it's totally and fully encompassing. Living a life is so fully encompassing that you can't possibly spend any of your time trying to picture the bigger picture because you know what? That's probably it for this one. Nonsense should start the way that nonsense ends. Nonsensically. I will see you all next Tuesday. Thank you for joining me here on the Third Eye Podcast. And if you're thinking about nonsense bullshit, clear your fucking mind a little bit. And unless you're actually having a hard time, then bring the nonsense in, because you know what, life's crazy, and you can't live off the whims of every single routine that you've created, because if you stick in your routines until the day you die, you'll never learn anything new and you'll never have a fun life. You're going to come back to this life probably. You're probably going to reincarnate. It's definitely not over. You don't know what's going to happen. Okay? Join me next Tuesday. All right? Y'all have a wonderful day. Drive safe if you drive. I love you all. Have a good night. Bye.